Hello and welcome into Sundays with the Stallions, a great episode on tap for all of you on this Sunday afternoon. Happy Sunday afternoon. John Gross, Michael Gross, and our guest today is first-year Stallions assistant coach, Mr. Adam Krey. Coach, thanks for joining us.
No problem, guys. I appreciate the opportunity.
Again, your first summer in Socrates, and what a summer it's been for all of us. But for you personally, what has this summer been like?
Oh, it's been amazing, especially the town of Socrates. They've welcomed me with open arms. People like Rich Doobie, Shane Spencer, they deserve all the respect in the world, but welcoming a guy like myself, first-year head coach, they've been more than great. So,
what were your expectations coming into the summer?
Just a good experience. Being a first-year head coach, you want all the experience you can, possibly. And when they said names like Rich Doobie, Shane Spencer, Charlie Hayes, it was hard to turn it down. Along with the Division I athletes, Division II athletes that you get to coach, and the JUCO guys as well. So,
yeah, this is a new style of coaching. It's the summer league, just a 48-game season. What did you know about the league coming in as well?
I knew very little. I had a couple guys that I previously played with. I had a couple D2 schools and Division I schools that played in this league, but not much at all. I've never really been up in the northeastern part of the country at all, so just coming up here was a brand new experience for me.
Well, tell us about the Northeast, and I mean, what do you think of it so far? We've had a lot of rain this
summer.
summer.
Yeah, a lot of rain.
It's
been a lot of rain. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't think I would like it in the winter with it being so cold up here and being a Florida kid, but it is what it is. But I mean, it's been a great atmosphere besides the rain and the rain delays and rain outs and stuff like that. So.
And I'll never forget the first day that I met Adam. We're driving around town. We go to get pizza, and you look in the distance and you see the mountains, and you were like blown away. You've never seen anything like that before.
I have. I just didn't think it would be so close.
Or at least so close.
Yeah, so close. I mean, I'm not one for hiking, but I am one for sightseeing. So seeing mountains like so close, that was just unbelievable. It was breathtaking and beautiful.
Well, to say that there was a quick turnaround between the time that you found out about this job and getting here would be an understatement.
Oh, yeah.
Most coaches maybe find out about things a few months, a year in advance. How did you end up in Socrates?
It was a 2-day process. So I was actually with a premier travel ball team in Florida. I was coaching high school kids, and I got a text from Kevin Hinchy saying, "Hey, give me a call." And I completely forgot about it. I applied for the Stallions job way back in February, March, I believe. So just applying that late, forgetting about it, getting another job, and then having him text me on top of that, it was such a quick process. He was like, "Hey, can you get here in a day?" I was like, maybe. I mean, let me see what I can do. So it was definitely a quick turnaround. Definitely a quick turnaround for sure, to say the least.
What was the process like to get packed and everything? You were living in Florida, and now you're going to be spending a whole summer in a completely different place.
Yeah, no, it was. Well, I had to call my boss at the time and basically say, "Look, I need your approval for this. I need to get the clearance to go up there, and because I'm working for you at the time, right?" Mm-hmm. So I had to call him, make sure it was okay with him. We didn't leave things on great terms, but I mean, sometimes you have to do what's best for you in the situation. So that's what happened. And I basically talked to my girlfriend about it. It was basically a 2-day. I wasn't even sure getting on the plane if it was the right decision to come up. And I rolled the dice, like Kevin said, and I got packed instantly. Said my goodbyes, and then just flew up here.
And then they lost your luggage.
Yeah, and then they lost my luggage. That was great. Yeah, they lost my luggage. So I was over here panicking with 2 sets of clothes for like 3 days or something like that. So.
Well, walk me through your first week when you got up here. I know Kevin probably blew this place out of the water and said how awesome it was going to be, and it I'm guessing it certainly was. Being so you're still here.
Yeah, it's definitely lived up to that expectation that he set. He said it was a great atmosphere. He said I'm gonna have one of the greatest summers of my life, and it's all been true so far. I mean, when I got up here, I saw the stadium, and I was just like, this is it. This is a good place to be at. I just knew from the atmosphere it was gonna be a good summer.
Okay, so getting here and getting to coach under the helm of Rich Doobie. Mm-hmm. You must have been absolutely just blown away that you get to work with a guy of that caliber. I mean, what have you learned so far?
You have no idea, man. When like I said earlier, when they say names like Rich Doobie, Shane Spencer, Charlie Hayes, all have World Series rings. I think we had maybe 8 World Series rings on staff at the very beginning of the season with everybody coming in at that time. But Rich has been an amazing mentor. He's been a great guy. I can't talk more highly about him. and Maureen. They give me rides every single day to work, like I'm one of their kids almost. But being able to work with Rich has been a blessing. I mean, you can't ask for a better start to a career. Getting mentored by a pitching coach who used to work with the Phillies, won World Series, has been in the industry for countless years. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, man.
So you got the coaching aspect, but talk about these players too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get to coach some incredible players from all over the country.
Yep.
You know, you're in a different part of the country, and for many of them, so were they. So did you help them at all with the transitions, or you're going through that together?
I think we're going through it together. I'm only 25, so being closer in age to them than Rich, it's definitely been an easier bridge for them to cross to come talk to me about certain things like that. But it's one thing to be a coach, but it's also one thing to be a coach at 25 when having players like Ray Rodriguez. He's 24. He's a year younger than me. I mean, it's been an unbelievable process trying to bridge that gap from player to coach in my process, and I'm still struggling with that. And Rich will probably attest to that with my antiques and my atmosphere of being coach now. But no, it's been a great ride having all these players. They've been wonderful, man. You couldn't ask for a better group of guys.
You mentioned only 25 years old. You just finished your playing career. A lot of these guys not much younger than you, like Ray. And I know during the year you are a high school coach, and we'll talk about that in a little bit and your path to getting to the Stallions. But what has that transition been like, coaching high school guys to college guys? Because I'd imagine it's a different approach from your side of things.
Oh, 100%. I mean, being a first-year coach, you go from coaching, well, in my instance, you coach JV guys in February, get promoted up to varsity. It's a little bit faster of a game, but going from the high school varsity level all the way up to the Division I, Division II level, it's something of its own. You don't really get to see that much. So
Did it take time at all for you to get used to it?
it's the same game. For me, I like to keep things simple. It's just baseball at the end of the day. You're just having fun, trying to win ball games. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go a little bit into your past. I know you were very athletic growing up. You still are very athletic, as we've all seen firsthand with our basketball games and with a ball and all that. Obviously, a phenomenal baseball player. But growing up, what sports did you play?
My first word was ball, so you couldn't take a basketball, football, baseball, soccer ball out of my hands or off my feet. I was just playing anything I could. Growing up in a state like California and then moving around to Kentucky, it was a hard transition for me. But going from such a popular area to such a rural area, once you start playing sports, man, that's all you can think about, all you can do throughout the year. So once winter hit, I was playing basketball. Once spring hit, I was playing baseball. Once fall hit, I was playing football.
Did you have a favorite one or one that you were just exceedingly better at a younger age?
I probably would say basketball. When I was living in California, I was literally out there for hours. Like Mike was one of my favorite movies growing up. So
Classic.
Mine too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was out there playing basketball day in and day out, day night, day in and day night.
Day out.
Day
Day
out.
out,
Yeah,
there we go.
You guys know what I mean.
Although, you know what? You do have some expressions that are different from this
I was
area.
about to
so
say,
maybe,
yeah,
maybe
we
that
have had
is.
a lot of conversations like that. But no, probably basketball was probably one of my favorites. And then as I got older, probably in like middle school, high school, beginning years of high school, I probably transitioned over to baseball a little bit more just because I was better at it. So.
Again, joined by Stallions assistant coach Adam Krey. When you make that decision to pursue baseball, was it because you felt there were more opportunities for you in the future?
100%. I mean, injuries play a role in my career throughout my time span of being an athlete. But definitely there's more opportunities with baseball. Just being a tall, lengthy kid, you get more whip action with your arm. You have longer legs. You're able to cover more ground. I mean, it was just basically with my body type, I would be able to do a lot more with baseball than I would with basketball, if that makes sense.
So you hop around at a couple different colleges, and you end up at Missouri in the SEC. Preferred walk-on, playing baseball at Missouri. What was that like? Because most people never get the opportunity to play college baseball, let alone in the best college baseball conference in America.
It was awesome, man. It was awesome. I didn't get to play there very long, but God blessing me with the opportunity to play at the next level. I mean, it's a great opportunity if anyone is to get to that level. I mean, some only, like 1 or 2% get to that level out of high school. Mm-hmm. So being able to go from a couple schools and then transfer over to Missouri, have an opportunity to be a preferred walk-on after labrum surgery and then some, I couldn't have asked for a better start or a better ending to my career, I should say. But it was just fabulous.
What was the decision like to go and walk on to Missouri? I mean, I know you didn't want to stop playing baseball, so.
Yeah, you never want to stop.
No.
You never want to stop. It's just the competitive nature in all athletes. They never want to stop playing the sport they love. But I had an opportunity to go out there. There was some things lining up for me out in Missouri, and it just kind of fell in a line. I mean, it couldn't have been better. The ending story for my college career couldn't have been better. We all want to go to the pros, but that wasn't in the books for me. So having that opportunity to play and then eventually be a student coach for the University of Missouri, that was just amazing. So.
Yeah, how were you able to parlay your time as a preferred walk-on into those coaching opportunities at Missouri?
I had a lot of opportunities, more than some would say, but I took advantage of every outlet I could. I started in Mizzou football and then moved over to women's basketball, moved over to men's basketball, and then I moved over to the athletics department and then baseball eventually. So I was hitting every different area trying to see what would stick with me, and found a home right in Mizzou baseball. I mean, I had an opportunity to come back, work with Steve Beezer out there at Mizzou. He's the head coach there still. And I had an opportunity to learn from him, get my foot in the door being a coach. And other than that, I mean, it was a blessing in disguise because I wasn't going to go back to baseball. I was never going to go back to baseball. When I had my surgery, I actually hated baseball. I never told you guys this. I hated baseball for at least 2 or 3 years. I didn't want to go back. And then something wedged the door for me, and I went back, and I couldn't be more grateful today. So
It really does take over the sport of baseball.
Oh,
It just absolutely takes over. So from all those years as a player, tell me what are some of the things that you learned as a player that you have transitioned to coaching?
Probably what I can get away with now as a coach. You have different player strengths instead of just having your own strengths as a player. So being able to utilize that and what you can get away with. I like to get inside pitcher's head, especially coaching third. I'm aggressive. I like to do what I can to get people in scoring position and then some. But just utilizing what I can as a coach now instead of what I could as a player, if that makes any sense.
And now, are there more things that you can sort of branch out and do now that you're with some college guys? You know, they're a bit older, a bit more mature, have been around the game a bit longer than those guys at JV. Not to say that it's, you know, a lot different, but I mean, it is in some ways because you can be more aggressive and you can, you know, be more vocal with these guys.
Yeah. One thing, my mentor down in Florida, his name's Brett Simmemacher. He's the one who opened the door for me down there in the coaching realm. The one thing he always told me is that talk to these guys, communicate with them, see what they think about certain situations and get their opinions on everything. It doesn't hurt to ask questions, but don't be afraid to ask questions. And that's what I've been doing. I've been talking Rich's ear off. I've been talking Ronnie's ear off. I mean, I've tried to get in the door with all of these guys, trying to see what I can learn from them. And the best thing that I can advise to anybody trying to be a coach or then some in your career is to have a mentor and have somebody that can open the door and pull you by the hand.
Well, you just mentioned talking, not afraid to ask questions. And John, before we went on the air, you had to make a phone call, and Adam and I were talking for a couple minutes, and he said that as a kid, he was afraid of the microphone.
Wow.
He was afraid, not of the object, just of talking into the microphone. And now, as we can tell, he just hasn't stopped talking.
No, Adam, it's you know it's been great to work with you this summer, and now again about midway through this show. If you have any questions out there, feel free to leave it in the comments section. We'll make sure to ask Adam. So you finish your time up at Mizzou, and I know you're not quite done yet. You're working on some graduate school there, right, online.
Yes, sir.
But you make that transition into coaching for a career at a high school down in Florida. How'd you land that position?
Like most things in my life, man, it was a blessing. Brett Simmemacher down in Florida, I know I mentioned his name earlier. He took a chance on me. He rolled the dice just like Kevin did up here. I applied for the position. I said, hey, I don't have any coaching experience besides being a student coach with women's basketball, Mizzou baseball, and here's my background as an athlete. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to be molded. If you want to mentor me, that's all I'm looking for right now. And he took a chance on me, and I think it's worked out pretty well being up here. But going from JV to Division I guys in 6 months, I mean, it's been a crazy ride over the past half year.
You talked a lot about these amazing opportunities that you've had, a lot of blessings certainly, but I know that recently there was some tough times as well. You had a heart condition, had open heart surgery. What happened, and how has that situation changed your life?
It's opened my eyes. As something to that degree, you would think it would almost paralyze somebody, but for me, it was a challenge. But I welcomed it with open arms because I knew it was either going to go one or two ways, and luckily for me, it turned out on the better half. I found out very early on what was going on with me. It was aortic valve replacement, and I had to have open heart surgery in October, and not even surpassing that full year mark yet. It's like most things in my life, it's been a crazy ride. But when I found out, my whole world came crashing down. But having that support of my family, and especially my girlfriend Jordan, it's just been unbelievable. And the recovery process has been even better. So,
you've talked a lot with us about how that's changed your view on life since then. How have things changed? I know you kind of have a different approach to your day-to-day life now.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get mad at the small things. I know people talk about getting irritated or getting upset over like red lights or whatnot, but sure, you can get upset about that stuff, but at the end of the day, why does that matter? You can get upset about losing a game, but does that really have effect and make your overall perspective of life? I mean, I know I'm talking like a motivational speaker right now, but
You should be.
But it really opens your eyes up to a lot of things. It makes you appreciate the small things, the time you have with people, the relationships you have. It really opens up your eyes when you go through something like that.
I'll have to keep that advice in the back of my head when I lose an NCAA football game.
There you go.
Big on video games as we are in this summer in Powder Mill.
Yes.
This is the humble
This
abode.
this beautiful location, and again, big thanks to Kevin and Renee Hinchy for having us up here. It's awesome living in the woods. This is
Yeah.
probably a little bit different for you too.
Yeah,
right?
living in the woods, man. I
Yeah.
go from being a city kid in Claremont, Florida, Orlando, Florida, and then coming up here to the Northeast and be living in the woods. So
We talked earlier about your first time in the Northeast. I want to go back to something that we all experienced a couple 5 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
We went to New York City together.
yeah, we did.
It was your
We
first
did.
time in the city.
Yes, sir.
I was kind of a little bit of a tour guide for you and Jake. It was Jake Starr's only second time. But what'd you think of New York City?
Oh, I loved it, man. I loved it. Like I said, I grew up in Orange County in California, so being able to go to Laker games and Angels games in LA, it was a different experience. But New York was fabulous, man. I thought I was gonna hate it, but I ended up falling in love with it. So it's been great.
New York or LA? What's better?
Ooh.
Oof.
Put you on the spot.
Good
The
question.
hard-hitting questions. Yep.
I'm probably gonna have to go with LA because of weather. LA because of weather.
So it's the cold. Is that your? That
Yeah,
you're
the
just
cold's
afraid
my
of?
thing, man. I played through too many snowstorms in Ohio and Missouri and walking through snow to class walking through snow to class. But I just hate the cold, man.
See that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you won't catch me. You will not catch me up in New York in the wintertime ever.
That's something that's the only place I am in the wintertime.
Right.
It's upstate in Oswego, New York, and I mean we get one heck of a lot of snow. We get a lot of snow. I
Yeah.
mean, like 2-3 feet at a time sometimes in some snowstorms. It gets to below zero. But no, this is also new for me up here in this area. I've never really been to the Catskills, so I think it's nice too.
I love it. Perfect place to spend a summer. Well, we talked a little bit about the Stallions earlier. I want to circle back to the Stallions because we are in a very exciting time of the season. The regular season is winding down. The playoffs just around the corner. As you get towards the playoffs, do you start to change the way that you coach at all?
Me personally, I probably won't. I like to stay in a rut and just ride along with it. I feel like if you change things, especially this late, it messes with team dynamics and then what you have drawn up throughout the year, what's worked and what hasn't worked. And if you start going off a path you haven't traveled down, it starts getting to where it's like you're in trouble here. Start reverting back to what you were and be true to yourself and be true to your team. So,
We've had a lot of highs and a lot of lows this season, but even though
Not that many lows, though.
No, not
that
that
many
many
lows.
lows. I think the lowest was maybe when we lost the 2 straight, and that's
Right.
about it. That's the only 2 straight that
That's it.
we've gone and lost this season. But going into the playoffs, there's been some guys that have had to go home, just back to their schools. And how have you guys faced that adversity and tried to push through and win these last few games?
My motto is next man up. If one person goes down, the next person has a role to play, as always. We've seen that countless times throughout sports in previous years. But things happen, man. People have lives that they need to get back to. We've had a coach go back home, TJ, and it's just basically been, if you have a role to play, play it. Do your job, get in, get out, boom. So if we have those players step up, we should be fine, and we will be fine, which we have. We've lost. I think we've lost more than what we have now. So, but no, everybody's been great. Everybody's been doing their job on and off the field as of recently. But yeah, I mean, it's been a great team. They're a great group of guys.
About a week or so left in the season, both regular season and a potential playoff run included. What are you hoping to see from the squad over this last few games?
Just what they've been doing all year. Just playing great baseball, hitting, running, scoring. Simple as that. Hitting, run, scoring. But just not to change themselves. Like I said, do it has worked for you all summer. Stay in that rut. Stay where you're at, and keep going. Keep going. Job's not finished. It's never finished until that end of the day where you hold up that championship and dogpile. That's my favorite part.
Now the team's still technically eyeing down a 1 seed. It's most likely going to be between 1 and 3. Just 4 games to go in the season. By the time we get to the playoffs, it'll decide whether we have the first round bye or we play all 5 games in a row. I mean, just tell me, what is the excitement like between the coaches, between the players, and just the excitement in general?
I think I'm the most excited one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I get so amped up between games, but it's the excitement's rising. Everybody's getting excited. We're getting closer to the finish line, and I mean, you can only expect what you're supposed to expect, the championship. So if we come out on top, that'll be amazing. If we don't, it's been an amazing ride. But obviously, we want to win. Obviously, we want to get that first PGCBL championship back to Kevin Hinchy, of course, who's done an amazing job for everybody here. And more so, I mean, I think he wants it more than anybody, any one of us, because he's been around for a while. So if we can do it for him and pay him back with the respect of winning a championship for him, that would be amazing. Last chapter to an amazing ride this summer.
As Michael said, a real chance to get that first round bye and host a semifinal playoff game. It would be the first home playoff game in Socrates Stallions history. We've seen some awesome crowds and atmospheres this year at Cantine Field. What do you think a home playoff game would be like?
Amazing. I honestly, thinking about it now, you can see the smile on my face. I'm excited for it. Yeah. I'm ready for the playoffs. This last week is going to be a little bit of a drag because you have all the excitement and it's just building up. But being able to just think about what we're going to be able to experience with that first home playoff game, and then some if we continue on, it's going to be an amazing ride. So I hope we can give you guys a great ride for the fans back home. I know there's a lot of people watching from around the country with players and coaches, especially my family.
Shout out to the Kreys.
Yeah, shout out to the Kreys, Marlene and Paul. But hopefully we can bring home a championship. It's going to be an exciting ride.
I'll tell you that much. That excitement is contagious.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
I mean, every single guy in that locker room, on that bus, going to away games, in the dugout, they are pumped up and amped up before every game. Every time they score a run, they're always out there, congratulating the guy that comes across the plate, high fives, and nobody other than Chase Pickles. I want to give another shout out to him.
Chase Pickles.
Legend.
He's a great kid, man. He reminds me of myself, but not to the extent of what he does. He does an amazing job for us. All the players feed off of his energy. They're excited to see him. They're always hugging on him and talking to him throughout games. So that's an amazing mentorship going from Little League where he's at all the way up to the Division I level where we're at right now. So
the short-term goal for Adam Krey, win a championship with the Stallions. But beyond this summer, what's next for Adam Krey? As you look to the future, what do you hope to achieve in the next couple of years?
Honestly, I don't know. I have my goals and aspirations just like everybody else. I want to make it back to the Division I level where I was at, especially being in the top-notch SEC level. But if I don't make it, it's not the end of the world. I have another year or two under Coach Simi down in Florida, being mentored by him, still learning the ropes a little bit. So heading into year 2, I'm just trying to continue to learn, continue to grow as a coach, and just develop. I mean, you gotta trust the process, right? As Jake would say. But no, I just want to be the best coach I can be, and having that mentorship from Rich Doobie and then Coach Simi down to Florida, it's been nice. So I'm gonna ride that out as long as possible, and then hopefully I can do what I can do and be me, be a coach.
Why college and not the pros?
It's more based off of politics. I don't want to travel into ground I haven't covered in yet. So getting my foot in the door through high school, where I had great success in, and then going up to college where I also had decent success. Those are 2 places where I've been before. Pro ball, I've never been to. I've never experienced that on field. So if the door opens up for me one day, I'll greet it with open arms. But as of now, I'll be comfortable in the high school, college level, and see if I can work my way up the ranks a little bit at a time. So we'll see.
As we start to wind down this episode with Sundays with the Stallions, which, by the way, I think it's going to be your last of the summer, unfortunately.
Yeah. Save the best for last.
Save the best for last. Are there any shout-outs that you want to give to people out there?
Just my family, mom and dad. I appreciate and love you guys. Jordan, thank you for everything you've done this summer. You've been amazing, holding down the fort back home. My best friend Luke down in Florida, you've been an amazing asset for my coaching career and my playing career. But other than that, man, it's been an amazing ride. I couldn't have asked for a better summer. Kevin Hinchy, you're an amazing guy. I appreciate you for taking a chance on me. Coach Simi, thank you again. And then Rich, if you're watching this, which I'm sure you are, you're an amazing man. I couldn't thank you enough for the summer that you've given me and mentoring me and taking me under your wing. And I say that from the bottom of my heart, man. You're an amazing guy, an amazing mentor. So
No shout-out to the dogs?
Okay, Rich and Lincoln, hi. Or Reese and Lincoln, hi. But, no, I'm just playing. I'm excited to get back to them. Excited to get back to my own bed. But what we have, like a week and a half left?
Yeah, about a week or so left. We're going to stretch it out all the way. Hopefully August 2nd, come away with the championship sweep. If not, August 3rd, the last day, would be Game 3 of the championship.
Yeah, they can wait 10 more days. They'll be okay. As long as we come back with the trophy, they'll be okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, an exciting final stretch to come, and this man to my right will play a large part in that. Adam Krey, assistant coach with the Socrates Stallions. He is the team's third base coach. So if you're at Stallions games watching, you'll know who he is. The guy with the little helmet, who's almost been hit a couple times last couple of games, right?
Yeah, it's been close a couple times. Josh Stevenson and then Verduzco, they've gotten pretty close, but I haven't been hit yet. Knock on wood, but.
there comes a point of athleticism that you've carried your entire life to be able. You have to hold that point of athleticism as a third base coach.
Thank God. Thank God I've had that. Because if not, I probably would have been drilled a couple times here and there. But yeah, it's been some pretty close calls. A couple inches away, if not an inch away. So it's been pretty close.
Awesome. Well, Adam Krey, an inspirational story, and he's been a phenomenal addition to the Stallions coaching staff. A playoff and championship run on tap for this crew. The Stallions are on the road tonight at Glens Falls, 7 or 7:05? 7 o'clock at East Field. We'll have the broadcast for you right here on our YouTube page. So make sure to stay tuned for that. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to our YouTube page. Just hit that subscribe button, and you'll be notified every single time that we go live. Also, let's give a little social media shout-out. Facebook, under Socrates Stallions. On Twitter, at PGCBL Stallions. And then Instagram and TikTok, at the Socrates Stallions. Make sure to follow us on all that.
Yeah, go check out the TikTok. It's new, and it's fun, and we're having a lot of fun with it.
Absolutely. That'll do it for today's episode of Sundays with the Stallions. For my broadcast partner, Michael Gross, our guest tonight, Adam Krey. We'll talk to you again later tonight. I'm John Gross signing off. This has been Sundays with the Stallions, and as always, roll ponies.